But if there is a favorite to finish in the top two, it would be 27-year-old Josh Davis, triple gold medalist from the 96 Olympics. Most golds, Rowdy, by any American man at those games.
You know, I have seen Josh Davis take a lot of races out very fast, but I've never seen Josh take it out that fast.
And he's still ahead of world record pace at the halfway mark. Davis looks like he's going to win it, and Davis sets an American record. He breaks a 12-year-old mark. What a swim for Davis.
Welcome to the Ultimate Swimmer Podcast. I'm your host, three-time Olympic gold medalist and captain of the 2000 USA team, Josh Davis. Here at Ultimate Swimmer, we hope to inform, inspire, and encourage you to be the very best version of you, physically, mentally, and spiritually, on your swimming journey. This podcast is geared primarily for those of us in the aquatic disciplines of age group swimming, college swimming, para swimming, open water swimming, and master swimming. But we welcome all who are interested in peak performance, pursuing excellence, and swimming with purpose. So whether you are just starting out in the pool or you've been swimming your entire life, you were born for the water, and you were also born for greatness. So each week we will explore the 7 core habits of achieving greatness that will help take you to the next level in your journey to becoming an ultimate swimmer. This episode is brought to you by Breakout Swim Clinics, the longest-running swim clinic tour of swimming Olympians in U.S. history. Breakout Swim Clinics has been providing swim clubs with the biggest Olympic names for the best prices with gold medal service since 1997. Go to breakoutswimclinic.com and bring some of their great Olympians to your team to help your swimmers break out. Bigger names, better prices, gold medal service. Break out with the best. breakoutswimclinic.com. Hey everybody, welcome to another Ultimate Swimmer Podcast show. I'm your host, Josh Davis, and I'm very, very excited about today's guest. She's a 92 Olympian, so really a hero of mine. I looked up to all the 92 Olympians, and she won 3 medals there, a gold, silver, and bronze. She likes all the colors, and she held the American and world record for a while in the 200 breaststroke. She's a peak performance and nutrition expert, and she's an ultimate mom and ultimate wife. So please welcome to the Ultimate Swimmer Show, Anita Nall. Welcome, Anita.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me, Josh.
Well, this is a joy for me because I was at the 92 trials. I was 19 years old, and I watched you and a bunch of my other heroes make the team to go to Barcelona. And I thought, wow, she's really fast. And she's only 15.
That's crazy thinking about how young I was because I have a daughter now that's 16. So it's really wild.
Yeah, but you swam with so much poise and grace and really great technique and really attacked your races, and it was fun for us to watch. So thank you for doing a great job.
Thank you.
Before we get to talk about some fun Olympic stuff in 92, tell us a little bit about your upbringing and how you interacted, how you got started swimming, and maybe something your parents or coaches did well that set you on a good trajectory.
Yeah, those are great questions. I always say that I was really lucky because my parents didn't over involve themselves in my swimming. So I feel very fortunate that they weren't like helicoptering me all the way through. I always made my own bag. I always cleaned up after I did all the work that was involved with it. So that I think that made me really be all in and invested in what I was doing for myself versus it being like their thing. So that was a big thing if I had to say what my parents did really well. And of course they took me to practices whenever I needed it, whether that was 5 in the morning or 5 in the evening or both. It didn't matter when. So they were really supportive. I really, and so were my siblings. So had a really lucky upbringing in that way that everyone was kind of supporting the dream for me and my family. I was the youngest of 4. I grew up in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And then I moved shortly after that, I moved to Baltimore, Maryland. And then I swam in the same swim team that Michael Phelps grew up swimming for, North Baltimore Aquatic Club.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I was the oldest of 4, so it's fun having lots of siblings.
Yes.
And my parents did the same thing. It was kind of my journey. They drove me and fed me, but they weren't living vicariously through me. Mm-hmm. And they just, it was that nice balance that you had. So that's always cool when parents figure that out because it's hard sometimes.
It is. It is.
And I remember when I first went to the Meadowbrook pool in 2014, I was passing through town and I wanted to train with Michael and the guys because Michael was kind of in another little comeback.
Yeah.
And I walk in the pool and I'm like, oh, it's kind of old.
Yeah.
And
yes.
kind of simple. And it's like all these Olympians train there, but
yes, I don't have the exact date, year when they started in my mind, but the Meadowbrook swim pool has been there since, I don't know, since like forever. But Murray did.
There's a lot of tough stuff. Do you remember any tough sets in particular, or did you have a favorite set back in the day in the intense days?
Oh man, we had. I wish I could remember exactly how it went, and I know who could tell you because he has a meticulous memory on these things. Paul Yetter could tell you. So if you get a hold of Paul, we did this set that took 2.5 hours long. I mean, we didn't hardly stop for 2.5 hours, and I'm not promoting that. I think it was overkill, but I will tell you that when we got done with that set, it was one of those things that you felt accomplished. It was like, I did that, and I did that several times because Murray would bring it up for us here and there, and it was really long, and it was IMs and freestyle all mixed into one. But that's what I remember is this 2.5 hour long thing, and it literally took us the whole time to do it.
Yeah, that's a doozy. I wonder which coach came up with the idea that 2.5 hour practices were what you needed. Because which we'll talk about in a minute, but we know scientifically that when you run out of gas after 90 minutes, you're really just eating your muscle. That's
right. And I can point back to numerous times when I was shaking from glycogen loss is what it was, I didn't have anything to burn. And I remember feeling hypoglycemic, and I can point back to that now because I do what I do, and I have that, that knowledge base now in now what I teach. But looking back there were so many times that I was improperly fueled, and it really did impact me. And it really did. When you run out of energy, that's it. You can't, that's not a mental thing. You can't I would mentally get myself just to finish the workout, but you can't just conjure up extra when you're on E. It's like my shirt, when you're on E, you're on E. That's it. Yeah. And so that's what my whole goal is all about, is helping kids to not ever get on E, because it's a terrible feeling.
Oh yeah, it's the worst. I hate bonking.
Yes, bonking. Yes.
Because all great athletes, they want to do the set, they want to race, they want to conquer that set. But when you don't have the right fuel, it drives you nuts, because then you start messing with your own mind, and then other people think you're a slacker, and you're like, no. I'm out of gas. And
I'm just on E. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And some people, what I've learned in my studies and in my love of what I do as far as nutrition is, some people can tap into their fat stores better than other people. And so I wasn't one of those. And so as soon as I was on E, that's it. And so there were days, and I didn't tell my coach this, and there's a lot of kids who are going to watch this, not do this, or you will not, be at the top of your sport. So it is just that feeling of, how did I just die in the middle of this set? And that it's not a mental thing, that it actually was a physical thing. That is what we're talking about here. Yeah.
And what we want our athletes to know is it's not just what you ate the 2 hours before, because it's sometimes what you've been doing 2 days, 2 weeks before. Like it's kind of we're kind of trying to broaden their horizons of all the fueling aspects. Of how it affects their performance. So that's good. I was really blessed. My high school coach in the morning was 90 minutes long, and my high school practice in the afternoon with my club coach was only 90 minutes long.
Perfect.
And they were really hard.
Yeah.
But at 90 minutes, we were out of gas, and that was it.
Yeah, I love that concept as a coach. I wish, sometimes looking back, I wish I could have had that experience and seen what that's like. Or I wish I could go back in time and have understood how to fuel myself a little bit before that 90-minute mark. So see if I could have made it better through some of those things. Right.
Oh, I want to say on a side note, I think your name is pretty cool. Your original full name, Nadia Anita Louise Nall. You have 4 names. I think that's amazing.
I do. The first name was given to me more as a baptismal in our church. We do the church that I grew up in was was called Byzantine Catholic, and they do baptism at birth. And so at birth, you get a baptismal name. Mm-hmm. And so mine was Nadia. And so that was just so interesting because I was born when Nadia Comaneci, for those of you listening who don't know who she was a famous gymnast, but she was performing a perfect 10 in the 1976 Olympic Games. So I got, so that was my baptismal name. It's just kind of funny how it all came together.
Yep. And a cool piece of trivia, Nadia lives near me and here in Oklahoma City.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. And I run into them at the airport now and again. And I go down to their gymnastics center because her husband, Bart Connor, great guy.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Guy. Yes.
And so they're like the Olympic power couple.
Yes.
And they settled here in Oklahoma City, I don't know, 30 years ago.
How about that? And it is a small world. We're all very connected.
So if we ever bring you to town for your nutrition and clinic and all your cool stuff you offer, we'll go down and say hi to Nadia for real.
Let's do it. I would love to.
But anyway, I thought that was cool.
Yeah, it is a fun story.
Well, let's just dive into 92 real quick, if you don't mind.
Sure.
You nail it at trials and you break the world record and you go, and trials was about 5-6 months out. It was kind of an early trials, a March trials.
That's right.
And then a, August Olympics.
Games as a world record holder in the 200 meter breaststroke. So of course, when you're coming in first seed world record holder, it's thought that you're going to be the gold winner, of course. So that was the plan and the hope. But unfortunately, I got beat out by 2 gals and got third in that event. So that was kind of a bummer the way I started off. And I know I say that and I hear myself say getting a bronze medal in the Olympic Games was a bummer, but it's just looking at the perspective from that which I was coming in with. So that was a little frustrating for me. And I back then, Josh, we didn't have I didn't have my coach with me. I was young. There was a lot going on as far as external to try and get myself prepared. I can say there was a lot of factors, but bottom line is, I just didn't do it for whatever reason. And so then the next event was the 100 for me, and going in as a world record holder in the 200. The 200 was always my better event, but then I won a silver in the 100 and broke an American record, which was the best time for me. So I was pretty happy with that, but I was just so close to that gold. And then finally got the gold in the relay as the breaststroke leg. Yeah,
so it kind of worked out.
It did.
But I'm very impressed that you were able to come back after that 200. That was the disappointment of the 200, and find a way to improve in the 100, and then cap it off with a nice relay. So. Yeah.
Well, I was lucky. I had, for those of you watching who know Janet Evans, I know you do well. Janet was my roommate. So I had a seasoned vet with me. So she said, you've got to move forward as fast as possible. And that was the best advice that anyone could have given me. And I say the same thing now to my son, who is a quarterback. And it's the same thing for him. It's like you have to have short-term memory. You have to have laws. You have to just kind of forget about that. And so when you're in that situation and you want to overcome something quick, you got to forget about it and move to the next thing. You can deal with the trauma of it later. Right. But when you're in that moment, it's like him. If he throws an interception, he's got to move off of it and go to the next.
Yeah, because that'll weigh you down and entangle you if you keep holding on to it. You got to.
It will.
Yeah.
It will. And there's people, and that's the difference, I think, too, between really my company is called Champion Powered Programs and Products, but it's that's the difference between being champion powered is that you have that mental capacity to be able to just do what you have to do for the next thing. Yeah.
Yeah. No. And then, and you find great friends like you had Janet to, to process it and move on. That's cool. That's really cool. I wanted to take a moment from this fascinating interview to let you know about a new partner for the Ultimate Swimmer podcast, and that is SwimShare. SwimShare is a free workout riding tool. Just Google SwimShare, all one word, SwimShare. And you can put in today's workout in just a few clicks, and it sends and stores all your workouts within seconds. The first workout you'll see on there is one of my favorites from yours truly. check out SwimShare and take your workouts to the next level. Send, store, and share your swimming masterpieces with SwimShare. You're 16 when you're done with Barcelona. And just a real cool side note, you were 15 years old with the world record. And then Michael Phelps later on was 15 when he broke his world record. You guys were from the same team. I just think that's really cool.
It's funny, isn't it?
And so 93 to 2000, you and I were both swimming nationally and doing, you were now entering some college things and racing. Just briefly give me the recap of what happened 93 to when you retired in 2000.
Yeah, that's a great question. So after the 92 Olympic Games, my mindset was, well, I didn't fully achieve what I set out to in 92. So I'm going to come back in 96. That was my plan.
Yeah.
But I guess, there was a different plan for me on another level because what happened was, Josh, I had never been a super healthy kid. I got a lot of colds and a lot of ear infections growing up. Mm-hmm. And in 1993 in particular, I got a virus that seemed to stick with me. I couldn't shake it. And I was very sick for almost a month. And technically recovered from that, but had a really hard time after that with my health. I was getting sick chronically. Doctors were saying they don't know what's wrong with me. They don't know why I'm getting sick all the time or why my energy's low. I pieced a lot of this together myself much later on.
Yeah.
And of course, have remedied it with a lot of nutritional awareness and understanding. And looking back, I had a lot of deficiencies that were brewing that weren't being addressed. So there's a lot to this picture. But to give it to your audience in a clearer cut, quicker fashion, I was sick for a while and I was in and out of swimming. I would show glimpses of being able to come back and do big things again. And then I'd get sick. So it was this roller coaster that whole time frame from 93. I still actually went in 93 to the Pan Pacific Games. We went to Japan and I don't know how, but I won 3 gold medals there. But then the wheels really fell off right after that. So I spent a lot of time in and out of I wanted to quit and then I come back. And it was not because I mentally didn't want to swim anymore. I didn't like the sport. I still love the sport very much so. But I was getting really frustrated with the chronic illnesses and then the not being able to figure it out. It was a really frustrating time for me. Very frustrating. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that last meet in 93 went pretty well because actually I was there with you. So I thought so. I was trying to think of the one USA team we were on together and that was it.
Yeah.
And that was a good one because Japan was great audiences and, great food, great hotel. And I ended up winning a couple of gold that one too.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.
So I
thought we were together on that one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one of my first ones. And then one of your last ones. Was there any, did you make any other travel teams, 94, 95, 96?
95, I went to World University Games. And that was kind of fun for me. It was a fun trip. But I was still so in it. My training was so.
It was Greece, Short Course Worlds.
Yes. That's right. I was in Mar del Plata, Argentina. So maybe that wasn't 95.
That was Pan Am. Pan Am's 95.
Oh, okay. So I was there too. And then World University somewhere else.
Yep. Okay. So.
So
we made both those teams together.
Okay.
So 95 because it was March 95, Buenos Aires, and we stayed on the beach in Mar del Plata.
Yes.
And we had those funky old barracks.
Yes.
And they literally just finished the pool right before the meet started.
That's right. Oh, Mallorca. I went to Mallorca for World University. So whatever year that was.
Okay.
Mallorca.
Oh, that was a good one. I didn't go to that one.
It was really fun.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it is. I tell everybody, USA team's the best because, you get the free food, free massages, and everybody has a great time.
Yeah.
And
free beer, all the free T-shirts and stuff. It's fun.
It's the best. So by 2000, it was, you decided to retire. Can you tell us about what that was like? Because that is a big deal. That's a hard thing when your identity is swimming and you've done it for so long. how do you make a smooth transition? And I think you've made a great transition, but at the time when it's happening, it can be quite difficult and
Yes.
quite unclear.
Yes, and it was difficult for me. I hung on for a lot of years that I maybe didn't need to because I was anxious to move on, because that's all I knew myself was. So it's like, well, what do I do next? Who am I? And what else in the world am I good at? Or what, I don't know, because my whole life was swimming. Mm-hmm. So from the time I was 5, so that for me, I was a really young starter. So it was all I really knew myself as. So it took some personal development and courses and things like that to really be able to be where I am today. Yeah.
Well, that's fascinating. I went on a similar journey after 2000. I didn't retire very well. I tried to make 2004 and I missed the team. And then it was becoming clear. It's like, okay, I'm doing very well teaching clinics and getting to be a professional speaker and a professional clinician, and ultimately started getting some coaching, but I still wanted to keep swimming. And so, but by 2008, it was clear. It's like, okay, I made Olympic trials, but I wasn't even close. And so
I know the feeling. Yes, that's exactly how it was for me in 2000. I made Olympic trials, but I was just a mess at the trials. I gotten sick before the trials, of course, right before. So and then that's when I was like, oh, okay, I think the time has come.
Yeah. Well, when I got back from my second Olympics, I put down a little outline. I thought, okay, how did I just do this? How can I teach this to the kids that I get to work with? And I came up with my 7 habits of highly effective swimmers.
I love that.
And they all start with letter F, so they're really easy to remember. There's finesse, which is technique. That's huge. Mm-hmm. Then there's fitness, the importance of working hard. How we do doubles and we do weights and, we train hard. Number 3 is flexibility. You got to have a good streamline, got to have range of motion, got to be flexible. Number 4 is fueling. I
saw this on your Instagram. I love it.
And number 5 is fun and focus, mental.
I see that it made your list, because it's like, here's how I see it. All my life, you guys know, I already said I started at age 5 swimming. So a big portion of my life, all my coaches said, you want to eat healthy, you want to eat right. But no one tells you what that is. No one tells you what that looks like and how to do it. So I picked up some habits along the way that weren't the best. I was completely sugar addicted as a kid, with between sugary cereals and soda, and I ate a lot of vegetables. I liked a wide variety of foods. But as far as an athlete who was trying to really be elite, it's no wonder that I went through what I had to go through to get the knowledge I have now. But yes, it's kind of like swiped under the table. It's like, just eat healthy. But it's just like saying, okay, it'd be like me saying to you, hey, speak German, but not giving you a course. And then sometimes you might even get that 101 course in German, but now I'm saying, no, you need to be like an expert German speaker in this. Mm-hmm. And then you're like, well, I didn't even get the 101 really well. So how am I going to be in the 301? And that's how I view and talk about nutrition is there's a 101, there's a 201, and the bigger your goals, the bigger the commitment that's required with the fueling. That's not even debatable. That's not an opinion. That is absolute fact. And I can tell you that because I've been working with elite athletes. I was an elite athlete. I'm raising elite athletes. I can tell you from experience and from a real professional standpoint, it is imperative.
Yeah. The power of fueling is huge, huge.
Yes.
And you want to have all the optimal energy to do what you've been created to do. And
that's right.
You don't want to sell yourself short. And, one of my lines I use in my little nutrition talk is, you got to get the good food to make the good cells to make the good you. And nobody's perfect. If you get the perfect food to make the perfect cells, that makes the perfect you. But if nobody does that, it's very difficult to do that. But we can always get better.
That's right.
And I watched one of your videos recently, and you talked about cereal. And me and my swimmer buddies, our nickname was serial killers, because we'd have just cereal time,
all
several
day?
times a day. It was just perfect. It's just so easy, but it's a ton of sugar. And like you said, it's totally processed.
And even exactly, even when you buy the healthier cereals, it's still a very processed, condensed form of carbohydrate that's just not optimal for long-term fueling success.
Yeah, it's very sad news.
Yeah.
Because we love our cereal.
I know.
And so
shoot. Sorry, I just turned that paper thing on. Sorry.
I've been transitioning. Well, I transitioned to oatmeal after my first Olympics. It's like, okay, I got to get better at this. And so I really dove into nutrition in 95. Then I took it to another level in 98. And every year I would just try something and it would become a habit. And so oatmeal in the morning with some nuts and fruits became a habit. And then water throughout the day instead of other stuff became a habit.
Yeah.
And, moving to corn tortillas instead of flour tortillas became a habit. And,
fantastic.
Picking more greens and veggies and colors and in my burrito bowls or in my salads, became more of a habit. And so now it's second nature. And I was on the road for 20 years doing these clinics on the weekends.
Yeah, that's
and
tough.
So now I figured out what are all the healthy things you can eat, at the corner store or at the drive-thrus or at the major stuff.
And you'll see the end of their career. Hey, let's insert this piece earlier on.
Yeah. What is the name of your program and how can people get in touch with you?
Yeah, sure. So my program is called Fuel, Compete, Repeat. And my website's just my name, AnitaNall.com. And I've got some free downloadable stuff. I've got a YouTube channel now, so you can follow me, Anita Nall Athlete Nutrition on YouTube. I'm working on that now. I really am trying to up my tech game and edit my own videos and everything. So that's been really fun.
Yeah, I watched a few of them and they're great.
Thank you.
Keep going. I subscribe. So
good.
I want everybody subscribe to Anita's YouTube. It's really cool.
Well, it's so much free information. And what I'm trying to do, none of them are more than like 5 to 7 minutes. So it's like micro learning, little pieces over time, because you were just saying, and I saw it on your Instagram too, I think here in one of your recent posts, small behavior shifts. Small changes, the small details, and making small changes over time is the way that I would say 99% of the people that I work with do it, and the way that it leads to sustainable change versus going all in and doing something real hardcore for like a month and then you just fall back into the old patterns. So these smaller sustainable changes over time is usually the best way that people find impactful change over time.
Yeah. So when I'm at a corner store, I pick, sometimes I'll pick a Cliff Bar or beef jerky that doesn't have too much ingredients. The bad ingredients and water. But there's really it's not much good stuff at the corner store. Sometimes I get popcorn. Popcorn, beef jerky, and a selected with a nutrition bar, power bar.
Yes, they're getting better. They're getting better, I will say. And so there's different bar options sometimes that I see that are workable. Sometimes they'll even have a little thing of like hard-boiled eggs in a little like pouch. It's like a sealed plastic thing in the refrigerator section. Sometimes they'll have that. So that's like a nice protein option if you can tolerate eggs, if you like eggs. And then let me think on this a second. Sometimes they'll have even like a fruit area. Now, not all the time is it fresh in those places. So that you got to weigh these things, you got to weigh all these options, but definitely stay away from like the drink station and all the stuff that's become so popular, especially even now with kids, is like that high octane coffee and all the stuff that goes in it. Stay away from that. That is not conducive to your long-term fueling success.
Yeah. I tease my 18-year-old daughter. She loves going to the corner store and getting these super drinks, and I just call them toxic waste. I mean, they're just super high octane, whatever. I don't even know what's in it. I'm like,
I know it. It's so true.
Just drink water. Just drink water and have a fruit.
Yes. And if you get bored of water, they have some of these water drops nowadays. I don't have any right here. I usually do. But my favorite one is called Sweet Leaf Stevia. So you have to be careful too. Some of these water drops are full of what I call inflammatory ingredients. So we don't want to, our bodies, when you're an elite athlete or an athlete of any level, I say elite sometimes, but I really mean any level, you're pushing your body body is chronically dealing with inflammation levels and managing that. Some inflammation is healthy, but when it gets excessive and chronic, that's when it's really toxic. And that's the state that I was in, for example, for many years. So you want to make sure that what you're eating helps reduce chronic inflammation. That's all I teach. That's the whole thing I'm all about. And so like, I don't count calories. We don't talk about any of that type of stuff. It's all about the inflammation and keeping that in healthy levels. And so one of the things that you want to be careful of is like those added sweeteners, like sucralose is one of those words you want to look out for. And that's inflammatory. And I used to be like, on the fringe by saying these things, but I'm all out there now because this is all finally like this information is coming to light. And I have to say, unfortunately, a lot of the nutrition information out there is antiquated. And so I push the edge a little bit on it. But I choose truly because I've studied this since I'm 15 and I had to deal with this. So I have lived this. I understand it deeply. And I love helping people.
I love it. In 95, I got my first big nutrition book and I just ate it up and I thought, okay, so I started experimenting with more veggies, more water, just cleaner eating, cleaner choices. And then in 98, I got, and every month I would add another nutrition book. So now it's, years later, I've got this whole shelf of nutrition books. So
that's so great.
In 98, I read the craziest health book that I ever read. And it basically said to go 80% raw fruits and vegetables, no animal products, obviously no sugar, and just get as raw as you can and as clean as you can. And then I do need a lot of various healthy carbs and, and the good fats, avocados and all that stuff. So, which is obviously a lot of plant stuff, which is fine. But anyway, so I call myself a bad vegan for a while. I'm a cheap vegan because if someone's going to feed me free meat, I'm going to eat it.
Yeah, that's right. Plus, aren't you from Texas?
I know. I'm in the middle of barbecue country.
Yes.
In Tex-Mex.
Yes. So here's my take on that. And I'll just give a brief. My latest video is on like habits that kill athletic careers, eating habits. And one of them, in my opinion, is taking out nutrient groups. So that would be just like, removing things entirely, other than some of these inflammatory things. Now, that's not a nutrient group that we're talking about. So like for a young person to tell them to go ketogenic, which is a very high fat diet, I don't think that that's a great idea unless there's a health situation where it's proven that is helpful. And that's very small percentage of people and young people. So for a young person to say, I want to go fat free. No, don't. If there's parents watching and coaches, please don't allow your kids to do this. This is not healthy for them in their growth and development as young people. It's not good for their brain development. I've been a vegan. I've done every food program on the planet. I promise you, I've done them all because I wanted to be able to speak about them. Yeah. And before I understood and went back and got my education in this stuff, I thought that some of these things were the way to go because they sounded healthier. But, we know that really a well-balanced diet that's primarily based on whole foods. So instead of processed foods, we want to get those foods in their most whole form possible. If that had to summarize it in a nutshell, that's it. Of course, all my programs go into real deep details and I can help give you, formulas and strategies, but that's it in a nutshell.
Yeah. And real quickly, what about supplements? Do you have a couple of favorite supplements?
Yeah. So my motto is food first. So because a lot of kids, young athletes in particular, they want this like magical protein powder, and I have a lot of videos on this too. So you can check in the YouTube videos that go deeper into this stuff. But the magic is in the food, is in the everyday eating. Now there are a few supplements like protein powder that can help fill in some of the gaps because our kids are busy. They have busy lives just like we do. They have gaps in the day where they need to get some protein in, need to get some more
certain
calories.
Shakes and vitamins can help.
That's right. Yeah. So and I just don't like to give out there's not a blanket one size fits all here. And I go into in some of my videos those scenarios where they do help.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So we've touched on sports drinks, we've touched on vegan, and we touched on inflammation. You know, and back when I started studying nutrition back in 95, you know, it was all crazy when I tell my USA teammates about what I'm learning.
Yeah.
You know, they all looked at me like I was nuts. And, a funny story. It was March of 96. You know, we had another early trials. We made the team.
Mm-hmm.
It was now May. We were at a little meet in Phoenix, kind of gearing up for the Atlanta 96 games. And so they had all the guys get in a circle that were, because we're 2 months away from the Olympics. And we were like all going to go around and say what we were going to give up for the next, 60, 70 days to really get ready for the Olympics in Atlanta. And so all the guys begin to start going around the room, what they're going to give up, and of course some of the guys are like, yeah, I'm going to give up beer, and some of their bigger vices. But, and when it came to me, I said, I'm going to give up partially hydrogenated soybean oil.
I love that.
And all the guys looked at me like, you're such a dork, Davis, because they didn't even know what it was, but I had been reading.
Yes.
I had been reading, and back in 95, 96, no one was really paying attention to that.
That's right.
And now, of course, everybody knows partially hydrogenated oils are better.
One of my series where I break down, it's like I have a whole list of those, where to start, because this is another question that a lot of parents ask me, like, where do we start, or is it too late for my kid to start? And I say, no, it's never too late. It is never too late. You can always, it does take a little more time to transform taste buds the older we get, but it's never too late. So just begin with these things. This is something you can begin with, these inflammatory ingredients. And I, of course I can teach you all about that in one of my videos, but you just said one of them, hydrogenated oils, take them out. Yeah.
And it's tough when you go to the bakery and you start reading the labels, you're like, well, can't have that, can't have that. I mean, it's just, thankfully that most stores, even Walmart, has some nice options, some nice healtty options, which is very cool. Because back in the day, they didn't,
That's right. I call them simple switches, where you can, a lot of people think, well, like, are you telling me I have to get rid of everything I love? No, let's just find the healthier version of it. Because I promise you, it's like, let's just say you love, peanut butter is a great example. Your traditional Jif is going to have the hydrogenated oils, but they make a Simply Jif or Simply Skippy or Natural Jif or whatever, and that doesn't have them in it. And if that's where you're starting, then that's a simple switch. And so that's one of those things that I teach people. It's a strategy that you can learn to use.
Real quick on a side note, I've been studying nutrition for years and had never really heard of keto until about 3 years ago. Has that been around for a while? It has.
It used to be used as more of a therapeutic diet for kids who had, seizures, for people with seizures. So that's how it was primarily used. But then people started to jump onto it as, wait a minute, I started eating more fat after Atkins. Atkins did that higher fat content, but then the keto plan came along and sort of refined the Atkins deal. So that's, and I don't suggest that for any young people. Some of the parents try it and really like it. For me, it doesn't work for my family, but some parents do and find it helps them with weight management and feeling better overall.
Yeah, no, some folks have seemed to really thrive on it. Real quick, what are some good drive-through? We talked about some choices at a corner store. What are some decent drive-through options? For me personally, I've found some grilled chicken sandwiches at different drive-throughs in emergencies. Arby's has the best turkey sandwich without mayo. Arby's turkey sandwich is amazing.
Yeah,
so I've found some healthy options on the road. What have you found?
Yeah, that's great. And I just put a video up called healthier something about drive-through options for athletes. Yeah. So, and I did Wendy's and I did Chipotle on there. So let's just talk about let's talk about different ones so they can see those two. McDonald's grilled chicken for sure is going to be your best option at the McDonald's. Sometimes they have a salad with the grilled chicken on it. This is another great question. A lot of parents ask me, do I need I'm trying to get my kid to eat more salads, or they need to eat more salads. You don't have to eat salad to be healthy. Most of the salads that I see kids eating anyway are just iceberg lettuce and a few carrots maybe. So that is not essential. but they do need more vegetables in general. And I do not count corn or peas as vegetables. Those are not, I would definitely get the grilled chicken sandwich. They do not have a baked potato. Wendy's has a baked potato, and Wendy's has chili. And so those things are pretty good there at those. Chick-fil-A is a great one. They've got the grilled chicken. Yep. They've got some wraps that are workable, and they even have some breakfast options that are workable too. And so Chick-fil-A, if I had to rate a drive-through, I would say that they're the best. Plus, they have great service, and there's always like young kids in there that are really full of sunshine, and I like them the best. I agree.
I went there today with my 5-year-old.
Of course, it's hard to avoid the waffle fries.
It's difficult. We split them. We share.
Good.
That way, it's not too much.
Yeah, there's a good strategy right there, because those are hard to say no to. And they even have a kale salad, side salad, it's like a small side.
Oh, yes.
So my daughter really likes that and gets that with her grilled chicken nuggets.
Yeah.
So, and then if you're going, and then think about drinks. A lot of kids, this is a big mistake a lot of kids make. They think that lemonade is like a great option because it has the word lemon in it. And it's just full of sugar. It's full of
struggle. You're killing me here.
I'm sorry.
I feel like I'm making a better choice than Coke. And so I've cheated a little bit. I'll go half lemonade, half water.
Okay, that's better.
I do half and half. Okay. So I can get a little sweetness.
Yeah.
But then I'll have 3 of those and it's still.
I'm going to give you a simple switch here. You got to just try it, okay? So this stuff I'm talking about, like these water drops, check out a brand called Sweet Leaf Stevia. It's a stevia company. Stevia is a plant, and they make great products, the Sweet Leaf company. And I don't get any money from them. I like them.
Yeah.
They have a lemon flavored stevia. So you could get the lemon-flavored stevia, put that in water, and I think that you were going to like it.
Okay.
It's going to taste, it'll be a simple switch for getting off the lemonade, but you have to keep those sweet drops with you.
So my favorite of all time is Qdoba, because we have a Chipotle in town, but we have 3 Qdobas in town. And so I love the build your own burrito. Tell me what you think about this. Rice, I picked brown rice. I don't know if it's healthier than the white rice, but I do brown rice. I do both beans, grilled chicken, double pico, avocado, and some lettuce. And then that's it.
Love it. And are you putting it in a bowl or the big?
No, okay, just a bowl. Just a bowl.
Awesome. Yes. So that's the biggest.
No tortilla, just a bowl.
Great. Awesome. That's the biggest shift that I encourage kids to understand. And parents would say to me, like, well, don't kids need all that carbohydrate? They need carbohydrate. Yes, 100%. And on my program, I call it energy giver, so that you can remember, what does this stuff do? It gives you energy. So yes, we need the energy giver. However, that processed form of tortilla is not the kind that we want to get. So the rice and the beans is plenty of energy giver for like one serving. So yeah, you did fantastic. And you even you didn't put cheese or sour cream, which in my program, it's not like we say that everyone needs to be dairy free, but a lot of people have dairy problems in my experience. And so dairy can be really inflammatory for a lot of people. So good job taking that out.
Yeah, I was a weird kid. I didn't like each other, and I'll get to see the habits of everybody. And it's like what you said, as they get older, habits get better.
Yes.
And, Dana Vollmer is super
I used to
healthy.
Work with Dana.
Yeah.
I taught her. Yeah, she's done my program. Yeah.
Okay, well, that makes sense. Okay, because super clean, super knowledgeable. Yeah. Misty Franklin. Yes. Real clean now, real, just really careful, really knowledgeable about everything she's eating now. So it's fascinating to see the progress all of us are making. And I love what you said. Let's get that going on the 12, 13, 14, 15-year-olds.
I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission to save these kids from having to learn these lessons later in life, or to have, I just don't want anyone to ever have to go through what I did, which is to learn this stuff sort of the hard way and have it cripple you in any way. And I mean, I was very deficient in vitamin D. I was deficient in magnesium for years. And so those things are huge for immune system. So it's no wonder I was sick all the time. You know, I was oversugared, undernourished, and my parents did a great job with me. It's like not their fault. We just didn't know. We just didn't have the information that I'm giving to people now, and that like you can have this information now and save. Plus, it's a great. I always say this, like nutrition is like the gift that keeps on giving, because this is something when your kids learn this now, they have this knowledge in their knowledge bank for forever into their adult years. After they have babies, they teach it to their kids. So this truly does get taught over time generationally.
I love that. And that was real important for me. You know, when I was in college and I met my wife, I mean, it was a huge plus that she knew how to eat well and take care of herself and exercise. And I thought, okay, this, you know, we get married, she'll be a great mom. And, you know, sure enough, we ended up having 6 kids, which is amazing. Yeah. And so, yeah, I'm grateful that, you know, she takes care of herself and is strong. And you want to be strong, not just for your swimming career or for the Olympics. You want to be strong for life.
That's right.
Strong,
That's right.
Be a strong dad, be a strong mom, and just have the ability and energy to do what you want to do in life.
Yes. And the biggest mistake that we make in terms of the nutrition is only associating what we eat with how we look. That is the least, it's like the least thing on my list. That's like an after effect. What we eat is so much more. It's how we feel. It's how we perform. It's how we think. It impacts so much. And the biggest mistake you can make is going along thinking, well, you know, I'm lean, so I don't need to look at what I eat. Or the food's just only about taste. It's just about so much more. And you can make it taste good. I love how I eat. I absolutely love my food plan, and I find it just to be super enjoyable how our whole family approaches food.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that. It's not about how much you weigh. It's not about how you look. It's about energy. It's about having optimal, ultimate energy to do what you want to do.
That's right. And to reach those big goals that you're setting for yourself. And that's parents too. Parents, the food you're eating is going to impact your focus, your capacity to pay attention to detail at your work. It is huge. And I mean, just as someone like Tom Brady, and look at Michael Phelps. I mean, he started, now I knew Michael I used to take Michael to practice when he was his first Olympic Games. So I watched him eat Little Debbie's and all that. And I did the same thing. And then he's grown into from what I know now, you know, from his coach Bob and all, he's really transformed his eating, and he understands now. He gets the impact now that the food plays, and it's huge. It's huge. Yeah.
I love that you have this program that kids and parents and families can sign up for. Can you just say your information again of how they can get a hold of you?
Yes, thanks so much. So you can go to my website, AnitaNall.com, and then just go to the Work With Me page, and you'll see everything there, all the options from the free stuff down to the programs that cost some money. And then also I do offer working with groups. So if you're a swim coach watching and you want to reach out to me, just send me an email, hello@AnitaNall.com, and we can get your team going together. So I do find that when teams do things together, then everyone, this is how I say it. It's like the conversation then of nutrition is alive within the team. So it's not just like Sarah over here doing it, or Billy or Joe. It's like we're all in this together, and we all find this to be important. So I love doing group programs too. And now with Zoom and all this stuff, we can crank anything out.
Well, good. Well, I want to hire you to do a webinar for my college team in the fall. So
I would love to.
That'd be good.
That'd be fantastic.
Well, good. Well, I'm glad I'll get to see you again. And I'm glad that you got this great program going to enlighten and educate the ultimate swimmers out there, the young ultimate swimmers, old and young. And I'm thankful for our time together on the USA team, and I look forward to seeing you around again soon.
Josh, thank you so much. It's been great catching up with you, and I just appreciate you having me on.
All right. Bye-bye.
I want to take a moment to tell you about my favorite swim cap, the Hammerhead Swim Cap. It's the safest, fastest, longest-lasting, most comfortable swim cap in the world. Its one-of-a-kind patented honeycomb shock-absorbing technology will prevent concussions. And the Hammerhead cap has no wrinkles to ensure top speed with the least resistance. And it's super comfortable. That's easy to get on and easy to get off. and it will never tear. This is the last cap you will ever need to buy. Safety and speed, all at hammerheadswimcaps.com.
Thank you for joining us on this Ultimate Swimmer podcast. We hope you enjoyed hearing from these Olympians and life champions and how certain habits and decisions help them on their journey, and they can help you too. If there is an Ultimate Swimmer from your team that you would like to nominate that we can recognize on our show, just email me at josh@joshdavis.com. That's josh@joshdavis.com. And tell us about how your Ultimate Swimmer is making a difference in your swimming community. And that's the goal, to make a difference and swim with purpose. Not only are you getting better, but you're helping those around you get better too. When you realize you were born for the water, born for greatness, and born to serve others, you are on your way to becoming an Ultimate Swimmer. I'm Josh Davis. Until next time, keep streamlining and keep smiling. See you around the pool soon.